Greetings, sunshines and sunnies. It is I, Queen J Lotus, Pimp Sunkiss, coming at y'all right quick, right fast, maybe, with a royale review for My Wife and Kids, Season 1, Episode 8. He said, she said. Now, this episode is all about listening. And this is one of my faves. It's like a mid-tier fave, but a fave nonetheless. It's that episode where they both are saying things to each other while the other is caught up in their own thing, and it sounds like they speak in Chinese or whatever, and then they try to like go through the motions of figuring out what it was that the other had said besides just having a conversation. So yeah, without further ado, we're gonna go ahead and get into the specificities of the episode. And we kick the episode off with Junior and Claire sitting at the table in the kitchen. And Lil Katie is up there to her own devices, playing with the sink devices, spraying water all over the kitchen window, all over the window sill. Honey, no good. But it ain't all her fault because ain't nobody paying no attention to her, child. Junior and Claire are too busy having an argument. And this kicks off a part of the whole listening and paying attention thing. Because it's more to listening than just hearing what somebody is saying. There's body language, regular cues, all types of things that go into it. And this is an instance where we see Junior and Claire not listening or paying attention to anything else that is going on around them. Because in the midst of them arguing about Jeremy Taylor, which is Claire's crush, little boy at the school that she's trying to get his attention or whatever. Okay? Junior is trying to tell her that Jeremy already got a girlfriend, so she needs to just pipe down and find her own man. But she is convinced that he do not have a girlfriend. Junior said, yes, he do. Lisa Bennett is his girlfriend. She said, no, she ain't. Lisa Bennett is all used up, ran through, been around the world, and Shame, shame, shame. The slut shaming that is already going on. So they spent a good amount of time going back and forth about whether or not Jeremy Taylor has a girlfriend and whether or not Lisa Bennett is quote unquote used up. And let me say real quick too, ain't no such thing as a child whore. There's no such thing as a child prostitute. Okay? There's no such thing as a promiscuous child. Children who show essences of the sort have been overly exposed, abandoned, neglected, and likely violated one way or another. So I just wanted to make sure to make that note. Howsoever, Junior and Claire are kids themselves, and they're at an age where their mind doesn't automatically process that. So they're doing what they hear and see other people do. Just as if the little girl was hippity hopping, if you will, she would be implementing something that she's observed and or experienced by way of adults that are not doing what they're supposed to be doing. Okay? So yeah. And I say all that to say that the slut shaming also comes from adults not leading good examples. But evidently, based off that conversation, Lisa Bennett got rumors going around about her one way or another for one reason or another. And it could even be that she ain't putting that. It could even be that the little boys like her, and because she rejecting them, they going around lying about the dealings of it all, because that's definitely a thing. And again, cheering doing that is a reflection of adults, because there are also adult men who do that, like little boys. They can't handle rejection, so they have to facilitate situations for shaming to take place against the person who rejected them. Unfortunate. And or another thing that's weird to me is, even if she did do a little something with one little boy, folks would then turn around and make it like, oh, she did this with this little boy, she must be doing it with everybody. Like, I don't understand why folks' mind works like that, but I really wish people would grow up and stop the madness. But of course, we're talking about kids here, so it's like, But again, that's coming from an example of the adults, which means the adults need to do better, because this was back in the early 2000s, and certain things of this nature still be going on with adults, and that is ridiculous. But Claire is trying to convince Junior that she know what she's talking about, and that she heard that Lisa Bennett has been with everybody. And Junior said, well, I ain't been with her. And Claire said, well, even Lisa Bennett has standards. Ooh, burn. And she continues to dig the knife in by calling him a loser. They say, oh, really? She said, yeah, you want to pick your nose. And they go back and forth calling each other losers. And he tell her at least he got a B cup. Ooh. And see, I know that that's a reflection of Michael and Jay because they always talking about Jay's little titties. Unfortunate. And see, again, imitating what they see the adults do. Because Claire is made how she supposed to be made. She only like 13, 14. And yeah, some girls develop quick, but Claire looks to be developing on time. Her titties wouldn't be that big normally. But Claire claps back and says, oh, that's real refreshing coming from a guy who has a peach fuzz mustache. And again, Junior, it wouldn't make no sense for him to have, I ain't gonna say it wouldn't make no sense because again, some children develop faster than others. But Junior is like 16. He should have peach fuzz. He would be developing at a moderate pace. So these are recycled reads that they've heard from adults. You see what they're listening to and what they're not, right? Okay, interesting. But while all of this is going on, Michael has entered the kitchen and he ain't paying them no attention either. He ain't listening to nothing that they're saying. He's not paying attention to absolutely anything that's going on. He ain't even paying attention to little Katie over there in the sink playing with the water and the spout and the little spray thing and whatnot. He ain't paying attention to that. He just fixing himself a sandwich, getting himself some snacks and singing to himself and all carrying on. He is not paying attention to anything. Just letting hoopla go on all around him. And by this point, Junior and Claire's argument has hit the fan. And Junior talking about, all right, you want some? Bring it on. He done kind of like pushed Claire a little bit. Claire stomped on his foot and put him in the headlock, honey. Y'all know Claire is about their life. But she got him in the headlock strong. And lucky for him, Jay walks in and breaks them up and gets them together and tells them to sit down. Says, Michael, baby, World War III is going on all around you. And what are you doing? Just over there fixing you a sandwich. Baby Katie is over there doing her own thing. And you ain't doing Nathaniel. What is it giving? And she run over there and get Katie down. And she steady calling out to Michael like, hello, what are you doing? Do you not notice what is going on? And Michael talking about, oh, what's wrong with you? It's all good. The kids are playing and so are the Knicks. I cannot. So this is kind of similar to the Bernie Mac show episode that was surrounding Bernie Mac Day. And him having his specific day where he just want to watch the game, be left alone, don't say nothing to him, don't ask him nothing. Nathaniel. And the difference here, though, is these are Michael's actual biological kids. Honey tisk. I might do another video just comparing and contrasting the different methods, perhaps, of the episodes. But until then, Michael is clearly fuckless. He done got everything he need to go back into the living room and continue watching the game. Jay is not feeling it. She like, I know you fucking lying. Absolutely not. And this is also given another moment where Jay is expecting Michael to pull his own weight with the kids. She's a working woman now. And either way, the kids shouldn't just be all her responsibility all the time. This is another one of the moments where Michael is making her feel like a married single mom. So I feel her on that front. What I don't feel is this next instance where she goes into the living room where he is and starts to get at him about him not listening to her. He's still not listening. And she's talking about, look, we work all week long. Why can't the weekend, at least Saturday, be family day? And Michael is like, because I want to spend it with my NBA family. He wants his own alone time, quality time with himself to just be talking about. He want to watch Cousin Shaq do what he do best. Just a mess. And giving some like made up memory of, oh yes, I remember when he was Lil Shaq and his mama had to jump up just to spank him. Get up out of here, sir. But Jay is still over it. She's not trying to hear none of this shit. She's like, you're not gonna ignore me. I'm turning off the family, and I'm turning off the game, and I'm not going away until you listen to me. He gonna say, why don't you put the plug in your ear so I can watch the game on your ass? Just play way too much. And she's like, look, if that's the way you want it, sit here, ignoring your family while your children run amok. You do so. Enjoy the game. And she storms off. And you know that's sarcasm. You know she is not okay with this. She plans on punishing him in the long run. And he peeps that. So he's sitting there contemplating like, I ain't trying to deal with that guilt. Go on ahead, you little wimp. Go on ahead in there and make him keep the peace. And he get up in his little flamboyant gay boy mannerisms, talking about coming dear, and he struts on into the kitchen, post up next to her, and it's like, look, listen, I hear what you're saying, I hear what you're talking about. She's like, no, you didn't, you ain't hear nothing, you don't know nothing about what I'm talking about. And he said, no, I didn't hear it, I ain't gonna lie, but I come in here to humble myself, hoping that my sweet wife will let me watch the game. And he like, baby, it's the only chance I get out the week to just be a guy, sit and scratch my ass and my feet and just be, you know what I'm saying? And I have to worry about impressing nobody or doing Nathaniel, being Nathaniel for nobody. And Jay's like, look, but I just feel like ain't nobody listening to me. Everybody is tuning me out. I might as well be speaking Chinese. And he like, I feel the same way, Lucy Lou. And he feeling like, why is it every time that I sit down to relax and just have some me time, that's when you want to come in and interrupt it. And you feel like you got to give me something to do. And she like, it's because it's always something to do around here. And he said, okay, look, just strap some towels to my feet. And while I'm sitting there, I'll just rub my feet all over the furniture and polish the furniture and watch the game all at the same time. She like, look, you playing too much, okay? Can we just skip this weekend and do something together as a family? And he said, well, I hope the family like basketball because I'm finna go watch the game. And she said, fine, fine, fine. Watch your stupid little basketball game while I raise the children that we had together all by myself. And he said, look, the kid's not gonna grow up that much between now and 4 o'clock. You being dramatic. Extra dip on your chip. Why are you trying to promote something that don't nobody else want? And she like, because I want it. He said, okay, baby, you want family time. Kids, get on in here. Your mother wants to spend time. Your mother wants to bond. And they get in there like, baby, I was doing something else, baby. I was playing a game. I done reached level 5, okay? Claire said that she was painting her nails and putting together her look and everything for the bowling party that she plans to go to. And he asked Kate what she was doing, and honey, she said she was in the bathroom doing the number 2. Just, don't even worry about it, honey. But he said, smile down to the table. And he said, look, I got some great news. We are going to have family time. And they like, don't nobody want to do that. He like, yeah. I know we have 4,500 square feet of a house, but your mom is most happy when we're all within inches of each other. So come on, everybody, come in close. It's family time. We are family. Hey, because mama won't let me see TV. And Jay is getting on his ass. He like, look, it's just a little family band, a little joking. He said, son, what you got planned today, huh? And he said, look, well, 5 minutes ago, I was upstairs in my room enjoying myself. But now I'm back downstairs staring at my sister, who, by the way, I really hate. And she like, right back at you with your big ass head. And he's like, look, okay, we're off to a great start here. And she says they're going to a bowling party later. And Michael is surprised because he says, oh, my little Babs, my little black American princess. You want to go bowling with stinky shoes and you got to touch things that everybody else has touched and possibly get a little sweaty, have a little sports goings on. I didn't think that was your thing. And Junior teasing, talking about Jeremy Taylor is her thing. He's going to be there. He's the dork that she's in love with. And she like, he is not a dork. And he said, yes, he is, and so are you. And Michael starts saying, well, if Junior says he's a dork, I got to believe it because Junior is an expert in that department. Dig. That was a read. Child. And Claire is cracking up herself. And so Michael started teasing even further, talking about, yeah, this is fun. Jeremy and Claire sitting in the tree. KISS elemental P. The little last part was Katie's addition to the song. And they steady picking at Claire for her little crush, and she storms out of there. She is not trying to hear that. I don't blame her because that is embarrassing, but I think that was Michael's intent to get everybody so uncomfortable that they just storm out. And Michael redirects his attention to Katie and ask her what is she going to do today. And baby Katie said that she still needs to flush. And Michael says, well, what you gonna do after you flush? Katie said, I'm gonna watch the Powerpuff Girls in there, referring to the living room. And Michael is feeling like unless the Powerpuff Girls play for the Knicks, you will not be doing any such a thing. Honey. And Michael says, honey, why don't you go outside and just spin around real fast in the backyard until you fall down? Terrible. He looks at Jay and says, well, I think my work here is done. Family time was fantastic. And Jay is not impressed. So, I feel like Jay is being a bit annoying and perhaps controlling in efforts to like take the power back or whatever. So, I do get, like, I'm summing up events of episodes that lead up to this one as well. Michael has been more present. He has been stepping up and, implementing more disciplines and playing more of a part with the kids and all that. And I do totally understand too that when you spend all week working and going through the motions with the kids as well, make sure they get to school, make sure they do homework, make sure they get home from school, the bullying and all this other stuff, the least you can do is allow him to have a couple of hours on Saturday to just watch his game and just be. And teach the kids boundaries by you also finding something that you like to do and just be. Yes, it's always something to do around the house, but that don't mean that you got to always be doing it. Yes, the kids were running amok in the first scene, and you got that situated. You got on Michael's ass, and the kids dispersed and were about their own business. You disrupted everybody doing their own thing. You had time for yourself to just be to yourself. And people who don't know or value entertaining themselves and just being to themselves concern me. And some people are just clingy, and I'm feeling like it's giving a combination of both for Jay. She's clingy and also has some sort of issue with being to herself and just being alone. She might feel some loneliness. She might feel deprived in some manner because Michael works a lot and now she also works. So she may have some fears concerning them potentially becoming like two ships passing in the night type shit, because now she has less time on her hands in a way because she also works. And so she has been trying to like bend herself into a pretzel to be every single thing. But girl, just go sit on the couch with him while he watching the game and do your nails. Or go upstairs and do nails with Claire. Help her pick out her outfit for the night or whatever. Like, it don't have to be this hard. So it just make me feel like it's something deeper going on with her that she would better figure out herself. Which again could just be her feeling insecure because she's working now and she's worried about if Michael is going to stay intrigued by her, if he's going to stay approving of her and really adapt the way that he needs to with her working now and not being so available and accessible. She could be afraid of losing her family in a way. And that could be a thing. That's understandable. Those are very real feelings. Howsoever, as we get into the listening aspect, Jay is not listening herself. Because everybody is just trying to get their own time in with themselves, regroup on themselves. And again, listening has more to do than just listening and hearing what somebody is saying. So you keep going in here while this man is clearly fixated on the game. Like, Michael is being himself. Okay, that might bother you or whatever, but in this particular instant, Michael is being himself. And coming from a person who is in a relationship with an athlete, a devoted athlete that is into all things sports, when the game is on, they do not hear nothing. They don't hear nothing. They don't see nothing. It's just the game. So instead of trying to have a conversation with him, let alone a serious conversation with him while he's watching the game, you're just going to end up hurting your own feelings and getting on your own nerves because he is not hearing nothing. So you just need to plan ahead or wait until he's done to try to have these conversations with him. It ain't like he ain't ever gonna listen. He just not listening in these moments that you specifically want to walk in and fucking dominate his time. And I totally relate to Michael in this instance, because I know some people that think just because you in the room, y'all got to be talking. That think just because you sitting there not doing what they feel like you should be doing, they got to give you something to do. Like, no. That's why I said it gives you trying to take some control back over something. You feel like you're losing control, or you don't have control of something in the way that you want to. So you're trying to take the control back by colonizing other people's time and space. That's what this gives. And it continues as she follows him into the living room, and she says that she's surrendering and she's done arguing and all this and that and the third, but you start saying something else to him that is likely important to you while he's watching the game. And he said, yeah, what you got to say? But you're not listening and catching the regulator cues, or using your memory to infer and see and hear that he is not listening to you. He is into that game. He ain't heard nothing you said. So if you were paying attention yourself, you would know that in general, you're going to have to touch back up with him to see if he really heard what you said and was really in tune with what you were saying. Because literally, as she's going through the motions of saying what she's saying, they got the screen up there, and it's like she's speaking Chinese. He ain't heard nothing. He don't understand nothing she's talking about. He is into that game. And the reactions that he's giving to the game, she responding to like, oh yeah, he's excited. Da, da, da. He not even looking at you. And while some people don't have to make direct eye contact to listen, especially if a person is neurodivergent like myself, or has ADHD like myself, they may listen better by not looking at you, because if they look at you, then they're gonna get distracted by something that's going on with you, or whatever, what have you. So sometimes people listen better by not making eye contact. Okay, but at the same time, periodic, at least on and off eye contact is necessary when it comes to listening. Even in those cases, like, you may not consistently sit there and just be staring at them the whole time that they're talking, but looking up every now and again, on and off, lets the other person know, and lets your own brain know, that you're in tune with this person that's interacting with you, that you're receiving what they're transferring. And he didn't do none of that. He been looking at the game the whole time and making root gestures that indicate he is focused on the game, not you. So you complain about him not listening to you, but you're clearly not listening to paying attention to him either. And that's annoying. Howsoever, here's where Michael fucks up, because he wasn't listening. And if he wasn't gonna listen, now granted, she just nagged him, so he was trying to compromise one way or another. But if you know yourself, and you know that you don't be paying attention to too much of nothing like talking about when you was watching the game, don't make it seem like you finna listen to what the hell she talking about. Then when you realize that she ain't hear nothing that she was talking about, go ask her what she said. True enough, you don't want to have that argument all over again. That's understandable. But you're finna take yourself through a bunch of other shit. Like him going upstairs to talk to Junior and try to ask Junior if he heard anything that his mama said to him. Junior wasn't even down there. Junior don't be paying attention to nothing, no way. Like, at all. Junior probably pays attention to like 10% of shit that be going on around him. So I don't know what the hell you want to ask Junior some shit for. But yeah, go out there, ask Junior. He beating around the bush first, asking him how school and all this and that, and then gets to asking him, oh, did you hear what your mother said that we supposed to be doing later on? And he like, no, the last thing I heard her say was, Junior, turn Power Rangers off and go to bed. And honey, apparently that was 5 years ago. And Micah's like, okay, thanks. And Junior wants to use this as an opportunity, talking about, now that I think about it, she did say something about cleaning the basement. Keep that in mind, okay? Keep that in mind. She said something about cleaning the basement, and the last thing he heard was her telling him to turn Power Rangers off and go to bed. And what she said about the Power Rangers was 5 years ago. Okay? Just keep that in mind. So then Michael goes over to Claire's room, and Claire is in her room in the mirror, rehearsing her, lines, rehearsing her game that she gonna do with Jeremy Taylor, looking at herself, and she's so cute. She's so cute. Her hair is cute. Her little outfit that she put together is cute. Okay, she's in there all giddy and cute and stuff. And so, in the midst of her being vain, Michael walks in, and before I get into him, um, they definitely showed a lot more insecure moments with this Claire, but I like these instances where she's boosting her head up. Where she's boosting her own head up and she in the mirror like, oh, you're so cute. You are such a doll. Like, giving herself positive affirmations and shit. I like that. It gives a balance because, especially as a teenage girl, she would have like some insecurities and things. And, like, everybody has their insecurities. And she's in those developing stages where, more of it will be going on than not. And so I love that even as a little girl, even as a teenage girl, preteen or whatever, she is boosting her own head up. I like that, giving herself positive affirmations and shit. And I wish that there was more of that balance with the other Claire. And I don't want to get too deep into that yet, but I wish there was more of a balance that remained even when they switched out the actresses. And I'm just going to leave that there for now. So, Michael walks in and he wants to pump Claire for information and see if she knows anything about what Jay wants to do for the evening. He also clocks the fact that she has on Jay's sweater. Hey, I heard that. I've taken my mama's clothes too. Okay, sometimes they just have what you're looking for in their closet and you just do what you do. But after he compliments the sweater though, she like, see, that mean I gotta go change. And so that leads her into the closet. And he's asking her to guess what Jay really wants to do for the evening. And she like, I don't know why I gotta guess. He like, just guess. She like, what's that? I don't know. I don't want to guess. Why I gotta guess? And he like, look, will you just do it? And she turns around and she peep game. Because she says, oh, I see. You weren't listening to mom again. He said, yes, I was listening. And she said, ooh, I'm telling. Because you was not listening to her after she just finished telling you, Michael, you need to pay more attention to me. And in the midst of her going through that, he slams the door on her and locks her in the closet. And he keep cracking it open here and there. And she like, ooh, I'm telling. And so he just locks her all the way in, put the chair in front of the door. And then he opens and closes her bedroom door as if he done walked out and left her in there. But he didn't. He's still in the room and he picks up her mirror to imitate her and is rubbing his head like, oh, you so cute. Yes, to die for. While she in the closet clowning, acting a fool because now she really thinking that she gonna be stuck in there type shit. And she might be claustrophobic. Honey, I feel you. Don't lock me in no closet. I've been acting a fool. I've been broke the door down. But by the next scene, he starts working on Katie. And he gonna tell Katie, now we can do this the easy way or the hard way. And Katie says, baby, no way. Because I don't know Nathaniel. I don't know what you're talking about. And he said, you telling me you don't know what your mommy told your daddy to do? And she said, that's my story and I'm sticking to it. He said, look, what if I have to tickle it out of you? And she said, then I'm going to have to call my lawyer. And he said, who is your lawyer? She said, mommy. Disc. That's your ass, Mr. Postman. He said, all right, baby, let's make a deal. You give me something, anything. And the next time you pee in the bed, I'll tell mommy I did it. She said, deal. He said, okay, so what you got for me? She said, boom, boom, boom. He like, what? She said, mommy's car go boom, boom, boom. That's all I'm saying. Now, okay, I guess so, honey. So he said, okay, she want me to get her car service. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And as he's doing all that, Jay walks in and says, okay, that's what I love to see. And Michael says, yeah, she's spending some quality time with one of my favorite girls. And speaking of one of my favorite girls, I'm about to head out to get your car detailed. Wheels aligned, oil change, get rid of that boom, boom, boom. If you want it, I'm gonna be va boom boom. If you got it, you got it, you got that boom boom. Boy, I'm in this club slow-mo. No mind if I do. I'm sorry, I couldn't help myself. And Claire thanks him and says, oh, baby, thank you. Oh, I've been putting off getting that done forever. Now I don't have to, baby. Thank you. And he like, damn, you didn't ask me to do that? She was like, no, but I'm so glad that you made the executive decision too, because I've been so busy, I haven't had time. And so he says, okay, well, I guess I'll take the kids to the bowling party. She says, oh my God, that would be great too. I'll call up Jeremy's mom and tell her that she doesn't have to take them. He said, oh, so I wasn't supposed to take them? I guess I'll just pick them up. She said, oh, my gosh, what did you do? Did you get bit by the good husband bug or something? What else are you gonna do for me? And he says, clean the basement. And she said, what? I gave up trying to get Junior to do that 5 years ago. 5 years ago. Junior done swindled this man into getting him to do something that Jay asked Junior to do 5 years ago. See how he did that? Crafty. Unfortunate. Tisk. But I do find it interesting too, though, that there's a load of things that Michael could have been offering to do for her. You know what I'm saying? To take a load off of her, to help out. You know that she been needing to get her car detailed and worked on. Okay? Yeah. Jeremy mama had offered to take the kids, but that's something that you could have been offered to do as well, to at least make her feel like you putting forth some extra effort with the kids and all. Cleaning the basement. There's a load of things that you've been putting off and putting off and putting off. House and never at the same time. Putting off disciplining the kids to do certain things that could help as well. Like dishes, laundry, cleaning the basement. So yeah, you gonna learn today, I guess. But she thanks him continuously and says, oh, I am looking forward to tonight. And he says, you know, speaking of tonight, what you plan on wearing? And she says, look, that's a surprise, but I promise you gonna like it. You just do your part. He said, yeah, I'll do my part. And she walks out and he sits down with Katie and is like, basically feeling like he done for. And Katie says, that's a fact, Jack. But in the next scene, Jay is walking around in the kitchen on the phone, having a bottle of water in a deep conversation with one of her homegirls, honey, getting the tea, gossiping and whatnot. Seems like her friend Gretchen is inching on about to have to put the paws on somebody. And Jay have to tell her, baby, don't do it. Just calm down, find another way, because I ain't bailing you out again. And in the midst of this, Michael comes on down the stairs and he wants to talk to her, tell her some important things. And she kind of do the same thing to him, like, yeah, what you talking about? Yeah. And he do the same thing that she did. She is clearly not paying attention. And her responses are clearly in response to her being on the phone. She ain't made no eye contact with him like talking about. I think she looked at him like one time, so that can be a little misleading. But she's not engaged. Her body language gives disengaged, okay? And she's making confused faces all at the same time. So there are certain things that she's doing, honestly, that would give you more indication that she seems to be multitasking. But if you really look at her face and the uncomfortableness in her body, she's not all the way in tune. She's not totally on board with anything that's going on around her. And after he is satisfied with the quote-unquote conversation they just had, and honey, why the heck didn't you like make sure she set the phone down real quick? She still got the phone to her ear, so that's another key indicator. The phone is still to her ear. She didn't have to hang up, but usually when somebody puts who they're on the phone with on hold, like she didn't say hold on Gretchen or none of that, but they would usually say hold on, and then sit the phone down and be like, what's good? Like, none of that happened. And you just steady talking. So y'all don't pay attention to each other. Y'all got to work on y'all listening skills individually and with each other. Okay? And then at the conclusion of all of that, then she wants to get off the phone, tell Gretchen that she gonna call her back. And try to ask Gretchen, did she hear anything? Like, no, because Gretchen was still running off at the mouth to you. So she walked out talking about, what did he say? Tisk. But in the next scene, she done made him a big old batch of peach cobbler. Takes it in there to him. You know, I feel like I done said this before in past reviews, but they always talking about Jay's peach cobbler. And we don't ever get an up close and personal view of it, but from a distance, it do look good. And the way that they be talking about it, honey, I want to taste Jay peach cobbler. There needs to be some type of way, something put in place for me to be able to taste Jay's peach cobbler. Now, I don't really want the peaches. I don't like peaches like that, but the cobbler part, the cobbler part, I'm here for. But yeah, anywho. She take that on in there to him, trying to butter him up, thinking that that's probably one of the things that he done asked for. He like, what did I do to the third day? She said, you don't want it? He said, look, I always want peach cobbler, but ooh, man, what a day. First basketball, then peach cobbler. It's my second and third most favorite thing in the world. So she thinks she got some clues that's leading her warmer to the X that marks the spot. So she smooths on up on talking about, ooh, you know what I'm saying? You can get your first favorite thing in just a minute. You come on upstairs. He said, oh, what? You got Halle Berry upstairs? Sorry. And she said, Halle Berry ain't got nothing on me. And in about 5 minutes, neither will I. Ooh, child. So they run on upstairs to get to the hanky of the panky of it all. Come on, middle of the day. Hanky, panky. Okay? And she like, that you lying that you wanted me to do? He said, yeah, you said it twice. My eyes rolled all to the back of my head. And all that. And she feeling like she done succeeded. But oh no, because he turned back around and said, you know, you need to save some of that for later on after we do that other thing that we got planned tonight. And she like, oh, word? It's something else you wanted me to do? He's like, yeah, you know, the thing that we got planned tonight. It's like, yeah, I know, I know, yeah. And he said, did your eyes roll back? She's like, yeah, And here she is back at square one, confused, all over again. That pride a motherfucker. And we pan on back down to the kitchen with Junior and Claire having their own argument about listening. And he telling her, I didn't mean to get you. That was intended for Karen. So he done played a prank at the bowling alley. And apparently it hit Claire instead. And Claire's like, you did not tell me that. He said, yes, I did tell you that, but you weren't listening. You were too busy drooling over Jeremy Taylor. You didn't hear a word I said. It's like I was speaking Chinese. What I tell y'all about that imitating and emulating things that the adults do around of the town of it all. Exact reflections going on here. And she gonna say, you know what? I hate you. I hate you now, and I will hate you forever. I hate you, Jody. You ignorant, bald, and so stupid. That's what that reminded me of. So Michael walks in the midst of them arguing, and he like, baby, what is going on? Y'all been fighting all day. What is it now? And Claire says, this stupid jerk played a practical joke on me. I was the laughing stock of the whole bowling alley, and now Jeremy Taylor thinks I'm a freak. Now, honey, why would he think that you a freak or whatever? Because you got. That's the victim blaming of the world. See? You see? Again, another reflection, things that adults do. Adults got to do better, because stop victim blaming people, and then the kids won't be up here thinking that this girl is a weirdo because somebody got her with a prank. Why she weird? Because she got. She know. Now, she should have been listening. But still, though, she know he had no business doing that in the first place. Why you doing that to anybody? And why is he doing it to anybody? Because Michael told them a story about when Michael played a joke on one of his cousins and glued his fingers into the bowling ball and talking about, yeah, you should have seen how stupid he looked walking around with his hands all stuck in the bowling ball. We called him the Freddy finger hands or some shit like that. And then Claire holds her hand up and the bowling ball is there in full effect. I would be pissed. I probably want to swing and bust on your upside the head with that bowling ball, bitch. But yeah, see, he got it from his daddy. A mess. See? Kids just be repeating everything. And Michael got to backtrack his amusement because he's like, oh, you don't think about it. It wasn't that funny, I'll just be out there. Now, for the final scene, we are finally to that thing that they was gonna do for the night. And you know that they are in sync because the main thing that both of them wanted to do was go out to eat. So both of them were prepared to go out to eat. And he tells her that she looks beautiful. She says to him, so do you. He says, I got my head polished. And she looking around for the kids. And he like, they in the kitchen eating dinner, eating what they gonna eat. And she like, wait a minute, I thought we was all supposed to go out as a family. Oh, see, you wasn't listening to me, were you? No, he was not. But Jay was not listening either. But apparently, what she had said to him while he was watching the game, when it sounded like she was speaking Chinese and all that good stuff, she had said to him that she wanted them to go out to eat as a family after his game was over and all of that. Again, she needed to schedule that ahead or wait until the game went off in order to be trying to say all of that, because clearly he wasn't going to be listening. Okay? And they give the flashback to show precisely what she said. And like I said, I just said what she said, but they did show a flashback to show the actuality of what she said and how it actually played out. And honestly, I don't know why she wanted to go out as a family per se. This is where I feel like she was using the kids as a buffer. Something makes me feel like she was afraid to ask him to just take her out, just her and him. Like she felt like she had to include the kids in order to get him to do it, or she afraid to leave the kids at home or something. I don't know, because if they already been out to go bowling, why you didn't want to take them back out to eat? You know, that's just weird. And I don't have kids or no shit. Maybe there's some like weird mom shit or something. Y'all let me know. What you think? What is it? What is the underlying thing that I can't exactly put my finger on when it comes to Jay and some of these weird requests? Because I'm thinking that it's a control issue in a way. It's an underlying control issue. I know I've talked a lot in previous reviews about some of Michael's controlling tendencies, but I feel like Jay may be passive aggressively controlling, whereas she's a little bit like, I don't think she means any harm or anything, but she's so used to being the housewife and therefore in control of everything that goes on in the house, that when she is not able to micromanage everything that's going on in the house, it makes her feel off kilter. It gives her some sort of anxiety. And it kind of reminds me of like the first mom jitters, when somebody's a mom for the first time, they just had their first kid, and they be super duper afraid to let somebody else watch their kid, and they be super duper like anxiety feel when it comes to everything because they so afraid of messing up and they want to be perfect. But I just can't see precisely how to connect those dots. So y'all help me out. You know what I'm saying? If you got some experiences or observations that can help connect those dots some more, let me know some. Because it could be as simple as she want to spend time with everybody, but it just don't seem as simple as that, because on one, it's like she's contradicting herself. On one hand, she wants to take a load off from the kids, but on another hand, she wants to include the kids in everything. So, like, make it make sense. And then it's also like, why don't you seem to value time to yourself? If you so tired and you so like overwhelmed with everything, why, when you get moments to have a moment to yourself, you then insert yourself in everybody else's shit and try to pull them away from what they're doing, that ultimately gives them a way to leave you alone. So that's where it's weird, contradictory, some controlling nature there, some passive aggression, something afoot, and it could be all of that at once or whatever. But like I said, y'all help me connect the dots and put my finger on what I can't quite put my finger on. And I did mention earlier too that it could be some form of attachment to the idea of my wife and kids, no pun intended. But much like Michael has been kind of struggling with his idea of what the family unit is supposed to look like he go to work, wife stay at home, and she's fucking super mom. But then to some degree, he acted like her being a working woman and all of that was unattractive type shit. So that interfered with his idea of how he felt like shit should work, even though he wants to do things different than how his parents did it, right? So a lot of women get caught up in being attached to their ideas of what a relationship is and what a marriage is and what it is to be married with kids and all of that. So there could be this fantasy idea of some sort that Jay is attached to, where she's like, I want to do this as a family, and I've always seen us doing this and that as a family. And there's some other episodes that kind of lend towards that as well. And it's definitely not to say that she shouldn't want to have family time, because of course, you want to spend time with your family and have family moments and stuff. It's just again, some other things going on around it that kind of go back to what Michael was saying. You want to drag everybody into activities that only you feel like are entertaining. These are all things that you want to do. We don't have any interest in that. We don't like, that's not our idea of a good time. So, how can it truly be a good time for you if everybody that you're doing it with is forced to do it? And that's where it kind of gets controlling. And also, it's like you're more attached to the idea of what you want more than what it actually is. And if that's something that you're truly into, you know, whatever the activity is that you want to do, if that's what you're into, why can't you just go do that by yourself or with one of your other friends that's into it? And I know it's human nature to want to be included and also include people in things that you're doing, but sometimes you have to go just do it by yourself and then meet other people in the process that are interested in that, and that be like just your own individual thing. And that's healthy. You need your own individual thing, even when you are in a relationship, even when you are married. To some degree, you need your own life. You need your own individuality. And for Michael, that's spending time for a couple of hours on the couch with his snacks, just being who he is, watching the game. And that could be where that controlling nature is coming from with Jay too, because you don't have your own individual thing. Like, yeah, you got your new job, but that's a job, okay? You need your own individual hobbies, your own individual leisure time also. And because you don't have that, and some part of you doesn't understand what it is to have that, you want to encroach on other people's individual leisure time. It's very interesting. Very interesting. But they come back from the flashback, and Michael is putting it all together. Got the look on his face like, oh, damn, you did say that. And she's like, yeah, you didn't hear a word I said. And Michael says, but I told you that. And she says, no, you didn't tell me that. He says, yes, I did. When you were on the phone in the kitchen, I walked in, you was gabbing, and I said, Jay, can I talk to you? And he goes on to say, listen, baby, you were right. I didn't hear a word that you said, but I want to make it up to you because you are my queen. And whenever you walk in the room, you deserve my undivided attention. So I'm going to feed the kids early. Then you and we're going to go out dancing and have dinner. So be sure to call Rosa so that she can come over and babysit. Y'all know Rosa is the nanny. So yeah, be sure to call Rosa and make sure you look really nice. I'm looking forward to this and all of that. And they flash back and she like, ooh, yeah, damn, And he like, nah, yeah, miss, emphasis on communication. And she said, look, I owe you an apology. And he said, yeah, and Halle Berry. And he said, so I guess you didn't call Rosa because you didn't hear me call Rosa. And she says, no, I didn't. And he said, well, I guess we're going to be having cereal with the kids. And she said, oh, no. I did not get all dressed up, make peach cobbler, and have sex for some damn Captain Crunch. No, the kids are big enough to take care of themselves. So, I feel like she had to earn her way up to that. I feel like she had to go through everything that she went through to get to that conclusion. Because I do feel like some part of her was afraid to take her hands off of the kids, not feel in control of the kids. And you know, that'd be something too. I'm not gonna stay on this very long, but that'd be something too. Sometimes people are asking for help, but then they won't get out the damn way for you to help them. And I do feel like to some degree Jay does that and or was doing that. But in this moment, she like, look, I done been through it. I'm tired. Okay. I done put in a lot of investment today. So they gonna have to figure something out for themselves. And like she said, yeah, they are old enough where the older children can follow the rules, act like they got some sense, and not burn the damn house down and keep an eye on Katie, or you know what I'm saying, suffer consequences. Now, keeping an eye on Katie, that's the tough part, because we saw what was going on with that at the beginning of the episode. House and never, they'll just have to be put on punishment if they fail, and pray that they don't be not paying attention so much that it be some shit that they can't come back from, you know. A mess. But you gotta do what you gotta do. How they gonna learn any responsibility if you don't ever give them any chance to learn any responsibility? And they not bad kids or whatever. They be having their things going, but they not bad kids. They do know right from wrong. And Katie don't do too much. I mean, what she was doing, she was just spraying water on some shit. So it's like, she don't do too much. So yeah, Katie's not that big of a handful, but she's still a little kid. Gotta keep your eye on her. But so they walk into the kitchen and let the kids know what it is and what it's gonna be. They check on Claire about her hand. You know, it was stuck in the bowling ball and everything. She said she could finally feel her fingers, move them around and everything. And they like, good, good, good. We are going out to dinner tonight. And y'all are gonna be here to tend to yourselves. And you already know the rules, right? And they're like, yeah, we know the rules. We know what's good. We know what it is. And they say, okay, but just in case you don't know, we're gonna tell you one more time. And we wrap up on the episode with them running off at the mouth and the kids not listening to Nathaniel. And it sounds like a whole bunch of Chinese, Japanese, Korean. But one thing I did interpret is from Michael's body language. He kicked his leg up, which I assume means if you fuck up, I'm putting my foot up your ass. Or I'm going to kick your ass. That's what I got. And I'm sure one way or another, they got the gist of the message too. I would though have liked to get like a little snippet of how that night turned out. Being the fact that they wasn't listening. I mean, we got to see how Michael and Jay had to learn their lesson about listening. I would have liked to get a little snippet to see what they had to go through to learn their lesson. But maybe Claire in the hand of it all getting stuck up in the bowling ball, maybe that was enough for her and they had a smooth, quiet night. And perhaps they went bowling, they got all their energy dispersed and whatnot. Maybe they just had a real chill night and it wasn't too much. Wasn't too much of Nathaniel. But honey, that's the end of the episode. And I gave, all of my commentary throughout the episode. Again, a good episode, great lessons on listening and how not listening can turn out, and how there are multiple different variations and levels to listening. It ain't just what you hearing with your ears. You also got to listen with your spirit. You also got to listen with your eyes and give regulator cues to assure people that you are or aren't listening. Okay, it's a whole lot that goes into it, and you just got to be willing to put forth the effort to not only be heard, but to let other people know that they are heard and that they are paid attention to. And so first too, you got to learn how to listen to yourself. And what I talked about concerning Jay and her contradictions, I believe that's a reflection of a person who does not listen to themselves very well, because they don't give themselves a whole lot of time to just sit and be to themselves, to listen to themselves. And I ain't beating up on her too much, because I do understand that being a mom, a reforming housewife at that, she probably doesn't feel a whole lot of permission to give herself time for herself, which could be why she went out of her way to try to take it from other people all at the same time, and in other ways goes out of her way to take that permission of self-solitude from other people. Because like what you're not doing for yourself, you can't do for other people, even if it's mindless. It don't even have to be something that you're intentionally doing or intentionally not doing. It's just simple, your functionality. If you're not doing it for yourself, you ain't gonna be able to do it for nobody else. And child, with all that being said, child, if I do say so myself, honey, I have milked this cow dry. And I'm thoroughly appreciative of the exchange of vibes. And if you're feeling synchronized, please do me a divine design and like, share, and subscribe, so that you can be one of the first to be back through these queenly quarters for the next time. And be sure to bless my comment section with your questions and conversations. And as always, I bid you in all ways light, love, healing, and liberation. Emphasis on liberation. Mwah.